All right, well, today we're back to work on the new shop, trying to get this thing ready for us to move back in. We want to knock out as much as we can while it's empty. But before we move back in, you know, the floors and all the other odds and ends, we want to get as much of that stuff done now. It's just going to be a lot harder to do once we move in, and we'll start setting up shelves and all that stuff. So today we're doing what for me is the most exciting project of the build, aside from, I guess, the new building going up, and that is AC. So AC in a shop has always been the dream. I mean, having my own workshop has always been the dream, and we're almost there, but having AC in there has always been, you know, just something you'd talk about working on cars growing up. Like, man, wow, it would be amazing if we had an air-conditioned workshop. How cool would that be? And it's always been kind of written off as, you know, it'd be too expensive. To AC a shop, you know, it'd be too expensive. But I started thinking about it, and I realized, you know, my whole electric bill for the house, working in the garage, welding, all that stuff in the summer when it's hot and the AC is running all the time, is usually less than $300. So even at the most, which it shouldn't be, if it was $300 to keep this place at 72, 75 all day when I'm working out here 10, 12 hours a day, that's $10 a day. $10 a day to be way more comfortable and way more productive. And to me, totally worth it. Now, on top of that, if you set everything up right, it should be considerably less than that. So we made the step to do 3-inch spray foam insulation. So we should have mid 90% heat rejection. We shouldn't have much heat getting through here or any coolness getting out of here. Now there's some other stuff we need to seal up. We need to insulate the doors and such, but one step at a time. We still got a bit of a road to go. But before we do any other projects in here, I want to get the ACs in so now we can work in the cool air. So I debated on what setup to go with for a while, and I decided on the Mr. Cool DIY mini split system. So these are really cool, see what I did there? Because they are fully DIY. We can set this up all ourselves, which if you do follow the channel regularly, you know that I like to pretty much do any and everything I can myself. So it just makes it a lot simpler. Not to mention these are incredibly energy efficient. They have much lower startup current, which is gonna help since we only have 100 amp service coming off the house to here. So trying to run a big full size AC, that startup current would not be ideal. And then they're significantly quieter than a general central air system. So for me, it was a no-brainer. They make these in all shapes and sizes. We got the biggest ones we could. So we got two 36,000 BTU mini splits. Now by contrast, my garage here that we've been working out of for the last 6 to 8 months has a 12,000 BTU window unit. The garage is uninsulated, it's just block walls, got a little bit of insulation on the door, and it does a pretty good job. Definitely wish it was colder, but it does decent. So we're going to 6 times the AC capacity, 3 times the square footage. We do have a little more cubic feet, obviously, it's significantly taller. However, we do have way more insulation. So I'm really curious to see how this all pans out. And working in here with the AC really kind of hit home to me how valuable it is to have the AC. Not only is it the comfort and all of that, but the humidity control. You know, here when I was working in the old building over there that wasn't sealed, wasn't insulated, and obviously was not AC'd, all my stuff would rust. All my tools, just odds and ends, would just rust. This is just from sitting out there in the shop, closed in, not getting rained on, just from the humidity. It is insanely humid in Florida. And then the productivity. I realized we did one project in there since it's been done, since the wiring was done. After working in here for a while, having the AC, it really kind of dawned on me how much more productive I am when the environment is cooler. It's so humid here on a hot day. I mean, you're just drenched in sweat. You don't even have to be doing that much. So to take that away, not be drenched in sweat, I feel like my productivity probably goes up about 50%. So those are all my reasons why we're doing it. But let's get into it. Let's get these things unboxed and start working on installing them. All right, well, seeing these things all unboxed, has me more excited than ever. It really puts into perspective just how much muscle a 36,000 BTU mini split is. These are some bag units, man, and the quality on these, A1. These things are so nice. Honestly, nicer than I was expecting. These things are really high quality. Really great job, A1 on the packaging too. You know, a lot of companies slack on that. It just, for everything, they did a really good job and went above and beyond on the packaging, so your stuff doesn't get damaged when you get it. There's nothing worse than being all excited about something and it gets there and it's broken, and then they're just like, oh, the shipper's fault. So yeah, these two should definitely be enough. I mean, the numbers said it's overkill, but seeing them in person, you definitely realize just how much AC this is gonna be. So like I said, overkill better than underkill. So the big thing I need to decide on is where I wanna put each one. I mean, my plan from the start has been one on this wall, one on this wall. My idea was to put one here, basically right here on this wall, probably up a little bit, right there about 8 feet. And then one either there or towards the back of this wall. Now that's where I'm conflicted. Do I want to spread them out more, one towards the back, one towards the front? Do I want to have them both kind of center? So if we open the doors real quick, you know, kind of the AC stays in. There's a lot of factors. I mean, in theory, this is designed to cool a 1,500 square foot space, one of them. So we should be fine with two of them getting the cool air all the way across the shop. I'm just, you know, trying to plan this out the best we can. So let me think on this some more, and then we'll start getting ready to mount it. We've got plywood, we've got regular wood in case we need to space it off. That'll give us an idea too of just how tricky or not tricky it might be to plywood at least the lower couple feet of the walls. So anyway, I'm gonna quit jibber jabbering. Let me figure out what we're doing here. Like 1 by 1, 2 by 4s to like space it off if we need to. Like put a 2 by 4 on each. So I was kind of worried that the board wouldn't lay flat on the beams because there's parts of the spray foam that kind of protrude outside of the beams. So I thought about being lazy. I thought about just putting some wood back there as a spacer, but I was like, you know what? Let's just take the time. Let's shave the spray foam down. So we're trying to shave down just as minimal as possible, enough for the board to lay flat, but we obviously want as much insulation as possible. You know, that was the goal, that was the idea, so trying to scale that fine line of shaving it just enough. But we got it shaved enough for the board to fit nice and flush, put a couple screws in it to figure out where we wanted it, and then we needed to drill our hole through to the outside. So the lines have to come out of the handler and down to the outside unit. So we got to drill through all the foam and then through the exterior wall itself.
Like now, yeah, you're right. You're bottoming out. Wow, that's cool. Hey, you gotta show everybody that hole though. That's big.
Tight fit, though. Ain't a tight fit. Ain't a tight fit. One fully installed. No, I'm just kidding. So I would have liked to finish out installing one whole system first before moving on to the next one, but it's Florida and it had been raining all day long, so we decided to go ahead and just do everything inside we could, hoping that the rain would stop by tomorrow. So we went ahead and put the second handler setup up, just copy paste from what we did before. It's one thing that's nice when you're doing a project and you're doing multiple of the same thing. Once you get the first one done and you know the process well, the second one flies by. So we get that knocked out. Look at that, 2 ACs. All right, well, we got the handler number 1 up and handler number 2 up. The paint didn't come out that great on the plywood, unfortunately. It just sucks it all in. This is why I didn't want to do plywood in general. But anyway, we got them both up. We got the holes going through the walls, but it is consistently raining. It has just not stopped raining since I got out here. I didn't stop for a little bit, but it's been raining most of the day. But you can see we got them poking through, boom. So I got to trim the other end cap, get those all bent down, seal it, and then we'll hook the other lines, route them to the pad. So we picked up the pads. So these are actually like a heat pump pad for a pool. So they're concrete, but they're like foam filled concrete. So they're a lot lighter. I can pick this up myself. Still heavy, but not as heavy as a little slab of concrete. So we'll get this leveled out. This is, I think, where I want to put it. We got to worry about the sprinkler there. Might put it, maybe we can go even past this. We'll have to see. I'll have to see once I get the lines out here. Then I'll get that all level, mount the condensers to the pads. Doug should be here to wire them in. So still got a good bit of work to do, but happy to have the handlers done. I think the placement panned out. I thought about putting that one further down, but I think having them kind of central should work best. This one will kind of cool this area, and that one will kind of cool that area. We'll pick this back up in the morning. Hopefully it's not raining anymore. All right, well, day 2 of Taylor picks the worst time to install AC units. Most of the stuff I do here, I can do inside. Doesn't matter if it's raining. One project where I gotta do work outside and it rains. Looking at the forecast, it shows that it's gonna rain, and definitely today. And then for the next 10 days, it says rain. So I normally don't look at the forecast because it's just so hit or miss. You'll look at it, it'll say it's gonna rain, it'll be sunny. You'll look at it and say it's gonna be sunny, it's gonna rain, but man, it's just raining. And it's tough because we already have these half installed, so the lines are just sitting out there getting rained on. The wiring and the drain, all that stuff's getting wet. I've got a towel shoved in the hole so the water doesn't come through, but none of that's sealed up yet. Ugh, Florida, why? Florida, why? All right, I got the cover plates on, got the lines bent down. Bit of a sloppy silicone job, but it's one of those things. I've been dodging raindrops. I just wanted to get that sealed up before it started raining again. Try to get as much done as we can. So I'm gonna try, I think I'm gonna go ahead and try to expand foam this, just so that way it's all fully sealed up. If it does rain again, which is highly likely, it'll be sealed. Oh, I picked a bad time to do this. So during one of the reprieves from the rain, I had worked on leveling the pads before Josue got there to help me with installing the outside units. Now, the rain bursts were short. We had very minimal time when it would stop raining, so I tried to be quick and I wasn't thorough on this pad. It wasn't very level, and it's really important to get these outside units level because if they're not level, they'll have issues oiling. So I wanted to take the time now and fix this, and it's tricky to get it perfectly level and stable, right? I don't want it to be able to rock or anything weird like that. So we spent a good amount of time trying to level this thing out because once we hook up the lines to this, the only way to re-level it would be to disconnect the line. So we didn't want to do that. We wanted to take the time and make sure we got it all sorted. So with both units mounted to their pads, both units level, it's time to install the line set. So as I mentioned before, these lines are pre-charged, so they're basically sealed and they don't open until you connect them. They're kind of like a dry brake for a race car. It's pretty neat. So you hook up the lines coming out of the inside unit. We kind of route them where we want to route them down the wall, and then get them hooked up to the outside unit, get them kind of bent where we want to bend them. So since these lines are this long, I decided to kind of put this unit as far back as possible, but we got both lines on and they're essentially installed. All right, we managed to dodge the rain long enough to get it done. Most of the way done. We gotta go to the hardware store, get a couple things, but we got it done. We got the lines hooked up, we got them wrapped, we got them routed. So we are gonna go get some sort of clamps to clamp the lines just to better route them. I do have a line cover set that I got with the AC units. So yeah, we got this one in, we got it leveled on the pad. We gotta go get shorter Tapcons as well. Those are just too long, they don't bite into the concrete good. And we got this one over here done. Same deal. I put it as far back as I could for the reason of having the trailer there. We could have put it on this slab, but it's slanted. So put it on this, put it as far back as we could, because I would like to do a concrete slab back here at some point and overhang. So I didn't want to put it there and then we have to move it to do the slab. So this worked out well. So same thing here, we'll do the better line routing, clamp it up, just keep it up off the ground. But really happy with that. Honestly, it was a pretty easy project in the grand scheme of things. The rain just really, there's a lot of rain delays, just waiting for the rain to clear up. It's probably, to do both of them with me and Josue was, I would say, a full day. Like a full day. We got started late yesterday and then early today, and it's early. So anyway, let's go to the hardware store, get these last little bits. The electrician should be here tomorrow to wire them up, and then we can see what these puppies do. I'm so excited. I can't tell you how excited I am to let these things crank for a few hours and see what it gets down to in here. Are you pumped, Josue? Yeah, see, this is the line cover set. So this goes on the front. You would like screw this in and then put this on. We might be able to put at least this piece on both of them.
Be able to like mount on the rib itself. I mean, it's
gonna have the gap, but I didn't realize you have this back tray.
True, we could try to do that.
It'll probably be better, like clean it up a little more than just.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. I don't know if we made our bends tight enough for this thing.
Play with that. Let's go to hardware.
So our laziness did not prevail. I did think about skipping this step just because of the way the ribs were and having to mount it on the ribs. It wasn't going to sit flush, but it actually kind of worked out for them to be spaced out that inch because of the way we did the bend coming out of the wall. So it really all panned out and laziness did not prevail. We thought about skipping this step, but man, it was definitely worth the effort, and it really was pretty easy to install. These basically screw on from the back, and then you have the cover piece that clips over and then kind of slides up into the next piece. So I was worried that 90 would be a little too tight, but since it's extra wide, basically, even without a super tight bend in our lines, we still were able to make it all fit and get a much better fit and finish out of this. All right, well, that was definitely well worth the extra effort. That looks so much better. In hindsight, I should have just put the mini split here. I wanted to keep it kind of as far back as possible in case we ever built a lean-to over here, or, you know, just in general, just to kind of have it out of sight, out of mind, kind of back towards the back. But wow, yeah, that looks great. Hides the expandifoam, hides everything nicely, and keeps it out of the weather. So sweet. We'll knock out the other side, and then our job's done. Call the electrician. We could do the electric ourselves, but we already had the electrician do everything else, so might as well have him do this. All right, wiring is done. Flip the breaker. Send it. What do you know? Which one's which?
Yeah, this is the one across the way.
Okay. So. Oh, there it goes. Let's see. Moment of truth here. Does it turn itself on?
Yep, it is right now. Look at it, it's opening.
Oh.
That's moving a lot of air.
What did it do its thing? Wasn't a big hit at all. Is the outside thing running?
Has to be. Does it have power?
Waiting on this one. Oh, there it goes. Wait.
Super quiet, man.
Yeah, that is incredibly quiet.
I mean, it's quieter than a hairdryer.
Yeah, that is like, it's way quieter than my window unit.
Yeah. I'll pick it up speed, but still.
It's still quiet. Like, my window unit sounds louder than this whole thing. All right, we gotta shut the doors now. All right, here's our starting temp. It's not 9:42, I just haven't set the time. 83% humidity.
All right, Taylor, you were worried about not having enough power?
Oh yeah, let's see how much power.
Less than 6 amps per, on each one. So
That's
it's
wild.
1.
6, wow. So it'd be 12 per?
No, it's 6 amps total.
Oh, it
you don't
is?
add both legs.
What do we have total draw?
Right now with lights and ACs, we're at
22 amps.
Yeah. So you're worried about the compressor, the welder, and I told you to calm down. We got.
I know, it's a mental block.
It is
22 amps.
plenty. And I know I got to phase these still to black, but look, we're just trying to get the AC on and get it cooled
Yeah,
off.
I may have put him in a little bit of a rush. I was like, we gotta get this done. I want to know. I want to feel what this is like. Oh wow, that's nice. Oh, that's nice. So yeah, 81 degrees, 81% humidity now.
And there won't be condensation on the vehicle while you're working on it.
Because then this one should kind of cover both lifts. Oh yeah, because I mean standing right here. And then that one should cover this back area. All right, so here's a quick sound comparison. This is the window unit on high. So pretty noisy. Just kind of always hear it running, no matter where you are. And then here is the outside. So this is really where it's super noisy. You know, like if you're even over at the road, you're gonna be able to hear that I have this AC on. So let's go over here. Now I forgot these things have a turbo mode, which basically just allows it to cool down faster. So I put them in turbo mode. Just here about is where I'm finally hearing it. Like, that is so quiet. It's absurd. Definitely don't have to worry about bothering anybody. Oh, you can see it draining. There's our drain. And now the fans inside are on full blast, and I've got the vents moving. Oh my gosh, it's so much colder in here. So let's see, we're at 74. It's been about an hour, but I did turn them off to change the filter. 63% humidity. So these things absolutely rip, man. Oh, I'm so excited. I mean, they've already cooled this. In an hour, they've cooled it down more in here than the window unit has it in the garage, and it's been running for 5 or 6 hours. I'm kind of curious. Let's go up. See what the temp's like up top. Oh, I'm right under the light, which is hot. It's not too much warmer up here yet, like right now. The light is warm. Light definitely puts out a lot of temperature. But yeah, like for example, right now, if I was up in the loft when we get that built, it wouldn't be bad at all. We would move these lights around, I assume, once we did the loft. I have lights to go under the loft whenever we get the loft built. I mean, I guess we might leave these. So these would definitely be warming you up. But I originally assumed I would need to have a multi-head unit, and I'd need to put, you know, a head there, basically 2 heads on each wall, and then a head up on the loft. But I honestly think with these, it'll get plenty cool enough, even up on the loft, you know, because the spray foam keeps the heat down. Like, as long as we can, once we get it cool in here, it should stay pretty cool. Let's go back down. This is what the shop looks like from the top of a scissor lift. So when I ordered these, I did think about, for this one, getting a smaller head for here and doing a multi-zone unit, and then putting like a 12,000 BTU head up there for when we get around to doing the loft. But it's probably gonna be a bit before we can get to the loft. We still got a lot of projects to do in here. We got a lot of projects to do in here once we're in here and move back in. So I didn't wanna, you know, run it less efficiently with only one head, or put a head way up there for now if we don't need it. So I just decided to go with the two single zones. But man, these things rip. Super easy to install too. I'm very pumped on the whole process. So we'll pick this back up in the morning and see what we can get it to in here on a super hot day. 63 now, 63% humidity. Oh, drop down, and 73. It's about 83, 84 out, I think, something like that. Not bad for an hour's work. So yeah, anyway, I'll quit jibber jabbering. We'll pick this up in the morning. All right, the weather tells me it is 90 degrees, feels like 99, 54% humidity. Take the heat gun here, see what the side of the building is. So I turned these on about an hour and a half ago. I turned them off last night, so they didn't have a chance to cool at all last night, just because I wanted to see. I don't know if I'll leave them on at night, just turned up or not, to keep it cool. I'm not sure I'm gonna do that. So I wanted to see what it would be like if I came out here first thing in the morning, turned them on, gave them a little time to cool down before I came out here to work. So the wall, the sun's already kind of behind it. Got 110 degrees. Oh, feels good in here. Inside of the wall, 76 degrees. So spray foam's doing its job. There's 75 degrees in here, 53% humidity. I feel like that humidity number on the weather app's gotta be wrong. Oh, it feels good in here. 76 degrees over here, 53% humidity. So I've got them on turbo mode. Let's turn them down. Where did I put the remotes? Oh, right here. This is how much quieter it gets with them off full blast. It definitely feels evenly cool. This door is warm. We are gonna insulate this. We're gonna do brush seals. We gotta do something up there, because where it angles, you can see light coming through. So you can see it kind of up there. So we're not sealed here. So that's definitely something important we gotta do to the front doors and the back doors. But man, it is nice in here. This is a dream, man. This is the dream. This is perfect. And I mean, I was all worried about placement, but over here in this far corner, it's the same. Like, it doesn't feel any warmer over here than it did over there. The biggest thing with the ACs is it's sucking the humidity out. That's really the biggest thing you notice, you know, especially if you go outside for a little bit, 5, 10, 15 minutes, and you come back in, just how much drier it is. That does a lot in and of itself. Even if it was the same temperature, but way less humidity, that makes a huge difference. So, whew, man, this is the dream. This is the dream. All right, well, I'm sure this video is long enough, but I can say 10 out of 10, these things work like a charm. They're super quiet, and they don't seem to be drawing much current at all. The startup on the AC on my house, which is directly attached to the house power, you know, it hits and dims the lights for a second. Whereas these, you didn't even notice they started up, and we didn't even think they were running at first. We're like, maybe we did something wrong. We walk out there, it's just that quiet. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy with that test. You know, I really wanted to see heat of the day since it was overcast yesterday. I mean, it's 90 degrees. I let it warm up overnight. It was 83 or 85 in here when I came in and turned them on, and it felt warm. And I mean, it better than outside, right? And now we're in the heat of the day, almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Sun's beating down, and it is completely comfortable in here. Like, nice, almost too chilly. So, I couldn't be happier, man. I could not be happier. So anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go. Been a lot of jibber jabber, but I hope to see you next time. We got plenty more work to do on the shop. Don't think this thing's done. We got floors. We are gonna do stuff on the walls. We're gonna do shelves. We're gonna do cabinets, workbenches. Eventually a loft. We gotta get the other lift installed, but I figured we might as well get the AC installed first so we can do all of that other fun stuff in the air conditioning. So anyway, hope to see you guys next time, but for now, that's a wrap. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Goodbye.